Good evening, everybody. How are you? It is Tuesday, June 20th, 2023. How is everybody today? Hope you're doing well. Hope everybody is having a good week. I know yesterday was Juneteenth and or Freedom Day as we call it, and that is good as we also refer to it, so that is good. Happy Juneteenth to everybody. Um we're just gonna jump right into this today. There were some things going on, so let's talk a little bit about the. Let's give a little bit of a preamble about what we're going to discuss tonight. So, as some of you are aware, Twitch has been going through and making a lot of tweets within the last few weeks. A lot of these tweets have had to do with a variety of things, from simulcasting, which is streaming on Twitch while simultaneously streaming on another platform like YouTube, for example. Or they've also tried to do a big change in their branding policy, which apparently they're not letting up on. Although it's not in the way that you would think they are. So they've kind of rolled back the changes they were attempting to make to add in some other things. And we're going to get into that today. We'll read through the post that they made, and then we'll read through another part, which I want to thank Ruby Vox for pointing out on Twitter earlier. So I'd also like to take an opportunity to shout out Ruby Vox. If you're not following my friend Ruby, well, you should be. She is an amazing streamer. Well, it looks like we have some errors. Okay, let's see why this is happening. Just give me a second. All right, I we'll see if if that actually works, but think my bot might be down. We'll see in a moment. It doesn't matter. We'll just go through the other thing. We'll do this the old-fashioned way. There you go. So, let's chat a little bit about some of the newest goings on Twitch, and we'll discuss a few other things that are happening. So, as of today, they are now. We're gonna go ahead and pull up the game stream. So beware. This is gonna flashbang y'all. Introducing content classification labels. Twitch is all about building and being part of communities created around what you're into. To do that, it's important that content is clearly labeled so you can make informed choices about what to watch. To make both of these things easier for streamers and viewers, we're introducing content classification labels. We've mentioned this in the January as part of the our open letter on community safety. We've got more details to share today. We've heard from our streamers that it wasn't always clear when their streams needed to be labeled as mature. Content classification labels are more specific content labels that can be applied and removed at any point during a stream. These labels are replacing the mature content toggle and should be used anytime a stream includes the following: mature rated games, sexual themes, drug intoxication, and excessive tobacco use, violent or graphic depictions, significant profanity or vulgarity, and gambling. To be clear, we're not making a change to our community guidelines in this update, but we are instead specifying the content that, while permitted on Twitch, needs to be labeled. Our content classification guidelines go deeper into detail for each label with examples, exceptions, and more. If streamers fail to accurately label their streams, they'll receive a warning via email, and the correct label will be applied to their stream. Streamers will not receive suspensions for failing to accurately label their streams. That said, it is important that streamers use these accurately, so if a streamer fails to accurately label their content after multiple warnings, relevant labels will be applied to their channels and may be locked for a period of days or weeks, depending on the number of prior warnings. In addition to helping streamers connect with viewers who are more likely to be a good fit for their communities, these labels also help protect your younger viewers and advertisers. Content labeling has become a common practice across the media and entertainment industry, both from a safety perspective and to provide important information that helps advisors better target the content their ads appear alongside. So far, that's we're gonna go through this. This is gonna be a thing. How to label a stream. We've incorporated the new content labels into the existing Go Live flow within the Edit Stream Info modal in Stream Manager. Like tags, these labels can be added to your or removed throughout the stream so that they only apply to relevant segments. When a stream ends, any label still applied will automatically carry over to the next stream unless manually removed. They'll also be automatically applied to any VODs associated with that stream. Fair. So we could see here category tags, stream language, and then select content labels. Okay. Additionally, to minimize work for streamers when playing Entertainment Software Rating Board Mature Rated Video Games, ESRB, a mature rated game label will automatically be applied to the stream. If you switch games to a non-M rated game midstream, the label will automatically be removed. Content classification labels will be available to you starting today. Viewers may report streams they believe warrant a label. If, after a human review of those reports, you are found to have mislabeled your stream, you will receive a warning and correct label will be applied. These streamers to give streamers plenty of time to understand how they will be expected to use labels. Warnings issued until July 20th, 2023 will only result in the appropriate label being applied to the stream but not accrue. After July 20th, 2023, the warnings will accrue and repeated warnings will lead to a label lock. All right. Where to learn more. For more details about content classification labels, including comprehensive FAQ, you can refer to our help article. As with many of our products and policies, we'll need your feedback along the way to get it right. So let us know your thoughts and use our voice. So let's see yeah, okay, we can go through this. The FAQ, what happens if I don't label my content correctly? Account suspensions will not be issued for incorrectly labeling a stream. If you fail to accurately label a stream, you will receive a warning via email. Multiple warnings will be issued before any action is taken. Repeated failure to label content correctly may result in Twitch applying a label to your stream on your behalf that will be locked for a period of days or weeks, depending on the number of prior warnings. If I use curse words occasionally during my stream, do I need to apply the significant profanity or vulgarity label? No, this label only needs to be applied if you are using profanity or vulgar language in a persistent and excessive manner throughout the duration of your stream. Think cussing someone out in a game lobby versus the occasional use of the F word or a genuine reaction to a moment in a horror game. For examples and details on what content does or doesn't need a label, you can refer to our guidelines. Good evening, Jakatsu. How are you today, my friend? It's good to see you. We're just kind of going over the newest Twitch news today. This is fun, and we got some. I'm just kind of reading over what was posted, and we're gonna read the actual way this is being used. So this will be fun. How are you today? By the way, it's been a while since we spoke. I hope you're doing well. Actually, had an interesting conversation, and I brought you up last night. We were talking to Mittens, and we were discussing something. Nothing bad. Nothing. We were just talking about how cosmetology and things like that. So yeah. But anyway, Going back. If I smoke tobacco or drink or alcohol occasionally during my stream, do I need to use the drugs, intoxication, or excessive tobacco use label? Our focus here is on sustained or prolonged activity. For alcohol use, sipping a drink while streaming wouldn't require a label, but appearing visibly intoxicated to the point physically at work but not mentally, I hear you. To the point you are slurring your speech or making being drunk the focus of your stream, e.g., doing a drunk history, would require a label. Smoking a cigarette or a vape on stream wouldn't require a label, but intentionally drawing attention to the fact that you're smoking or promoting smoking would need a label. Use of marijuana in any form would require a label. For examples and details on what content does or doesn't need a label, you can refer to our guidelines. What do you mean by sexual themes? Okay, examples of sexual themes include prolonged or repeated kissing of another individual or object, the detailed, non-educational discussion of sexual topics or experiences, the content and behavior that is very likely to elicit a mature chat conversation. To be more direct, many ASMR practices are focused on mindfulness and are not sexual, but we consider kissing or licking the microphone to fall within sexual themes. Additionally, many hot tub streams are intended to draw attention to body parts such as the buttocks. Groin or breasts will need to be labeled. Well, that kind of goes without. Kind of hot tub streams in general. We'll get back to that. For more examples and details on what content does or doesn't need a label, you can refer to our guidelines. How will I know how long labels will be locked on my channel? Go to the content classification field in your stream manager, where if you will hover over the label that is currently locked on your channel, you will see a tooltip detailing how long it will remain before expiring. Can I change my selected content classification labels partway through a stream? Yes, similar to tags and streaming categories, you can change your selected content classification labels at any point of the live stream. So you don't lick the screen when Graha, Amrik, Amit, or Hithlo shows up. Got it. I mean, yeah, as long as they can't see you licking, I guess that's fine. I mean, that would seem to be a basic, loophole. So, if you're on cam, but, if you're just, sitting here like this, or, on a VTuber, and, you're not actually licking anything, or maybe licking the air, I can't see that being a thing, although that does bring up... we'll take a look at a clip that would bring up a kind of a funny portion of this, because I'm not going to keep it all dead serious. If a different game is selected partway through the stream, we'll also automatically update where your mature rated game label is selected. All right, got it. What type of content will the type of content I stream affect my ad revenue? There is a possibility that the type of content that you stream could affect your ad revenue. Brands align their ads with content that reflects their brand values. The labels will allow advertisers to have more context to inform which types of streams they show their ads alongside, which we expect to increase brands' confidence in running ads on Twitch and could bring new advertisers to our service. It is also possible that certain brands won't want to run ads alongside streams with specific types of content classification labels applied. This is important. We're going to come back to this. This is the whole reason I'm actually covering this. If I apply labels, will my channel's discoverability be impacted? When you apply labels to your stream, an interstitial will be shown to viewers, informing them of the types of content in your stream. Once the viewer provides consent, they can watch as they normally would. Using the labels will not impact your stream's visibility in any discovery services. In the future, we may use them as inputs to our personalized viewer recommendations. Also, a key point. Can my editors or mods help add or remove content classifications labels to my stream? Editors can change the content classifications on your stream, but moderators cannot. Also important. So really, the main thing that Ruby brought up in terms of this, and I thought Ruby really brought this up to really actually to good effect. This is something that I do think is okay. So there's a lot of hypocrisy in this. So when we talk about will the type of content I stream affect my ad revenue? So, just to switch back to the podcast, here we go. So let's have a little bit of a chat about this, okay? Because this is important in the context of really kind of what the decisions that Twitch has been making in really the past couple of weeks and months, and how things are really kind of working. And I'm gonna be honest. There's been a lot of. Well, I'll be honest here, from my own opinion. A lot of this is like last minute damage. Well, not last minute, but panic damage control for a lot of things that are going on. So let's dive into this a bit. So when they talk about the content they talk about here, which is brands align their ads with content that reflects their brand values. The labels will allow advertisers to have more context to inform which types of stream they show their ads alongside. Let's unpack that statement for a moment. And this is something I said last week, and I've had actually a chance to sit in discussions with a variety of other creators here on the platform, and to other people that have been around a decent amount of time, and to really kind of talk about what this means. So going back, we have to look at why Twitch is kind of hurting for money, and they are. Twitch is not a terribly profitable platform. Despite what it may look like, it is not, actively generating that much money. If you had a question about that, just look at the viewer experience and how they've been willing to sacrifice the viewer experience for requiring or asking content creators to run more ads, and how they still have pre-roll ads on things, and you could be experiencing up to 5 pre-roll ads before actually getting to a new stream, and things like that. It's this point where I really kind of want to say Twitch makes a statement that talks about allowing advertisers to have more context for the streams they want to add their ads to run alongside, and specifically saying it may actually, increase the brand's confidence in running ads on Twitch. Well, the whole reason that a lot of larger companies stopped advertising on Twitch was because Twitch was openly supporting or openly allowing streams of gambling, and specifically hot tub streams and things like that, to occur on the platform. And they were giving bad actors like XQC and like Amaranth. I have no problem with, to be honest, I don't have a problem with them. But the fact of the matter is, because they were people that brought viewers to Twitch, they would give them a slap on the wrist and wouldn't enforce any of the TOS policies, or really enforce a lot of things to kind of curb the kind of behavior that they were bringing up. And it was always, Twitch was back, okay, we want the numbers, we want the sub money, but then they were driving away the real money, which was brands like Coca-Cola, brands like McDonald's, the big money where the advertiser is going to come in the millions to, and inflating, like basically slapping creators on the wrist that were bringing in views, rather than actually having a backbone and saying, well, no, we're not going to allow gambling on the site and things like that. By the time that they finally acted on it, it was too late. The companies, the big advertising kind of train had left the station, and it wasn't going back to it. Now what they're trying to do here is to try to say, oh, look, we're cleaning up our act. You want to clean up the act? I'm going to be honest, make sure the gambling is completely gone off the platform. Make sure the hot tub streams go away off the platform. And it's not that I have anything against people that want to do that, but this is primarily a website for gaming. It was developed for streaming games. If you want to go do that, honestly, there are better sites out there, better platforms that are built where you can make more money than you're making on Twitch. Like, you can go to other websites where you can show your body or gamble and make far more money than doing it like here. Like, that's the number one thing that I will say. It's that really drove away that caused a lot of the problems here. And Twitch's management was honestly too dumb to see that, because that is bad business. That is, because I'm going to tell you right now, if I see that having things that if I'm running a business and my one of my main income streams comes from advertisers, big advertisers, and people that are paying, where they're spending millions of dollars on ad time a month. And I see that I'm losing these people because of a couple of streamers. I would much rather lose a streamer like an Amaranth than lose an advertiser that's paying me millions of money. Millions of dollars a month. Because I'm going to tell you right now, Amaranth is fine. She's set. She doesn't have to do anything. She doesn't have to stream anymore the rest of her life to make money. She is smart. She's invested. She made her money. Anything else she gets right now, she can. I know she does charity and things like that, but I'm just saying, like, it's not that she's going to be hurting for making a living or anything like that. There are other streams of income that she has. Again, the same thing. And believe me, again, I'm nothing wrong with Ammo. I think she's a great. I know people that are friends with her. She's a really nice person and things like that. More power to her. I wish her all the success in the world. Same thing with XQC. I don't, gambler, whatever. I have nothing directly against these, but it's the fact that from a business standpoint, Twitch should have made a stand because by doing so, they would not be in the situation they're in. What you're seeing here is a Band-Aid that's going on after there's already a scar on the wound. In other words, the wound is already closed up. They're trying to put a Band-Aid on it after it's too late. And to be honest, that's what a lot of the things that they've been doing is trying to. We've got to figure out what to do because we're kind of taking in water and we're going down. And the big thing that really kind of is panicking them really right now is Kick. Kick is now I'm going to give you a caveat here because we're going to talk about something other than what's actually going on with the whole thing that has been happening with Kick. So I want to explain. So we're going to get into the business details. So before we get into this, I'm going to say this. I'm going to preface this by saying Trainwrecks is a gambler and Kick is backed by Stake.com, which is a gambling website, specifically a crypto gambling website, and that helps them kind of skirt around some of the regulations that would go around the money and the taxation and things like that because it's hard to regulate crypto. So I just want to point that out. Now, Stake is going to say, well, look, we want it to be a separate thing, but the fact of the matter is gambling is still the largest portion of their categories that's streamed. And they don't have any restrictions on the gambling content over there, things like that. In fact, Kick is very lax, or I should say very free with its content that they allow over there. And they build themselves as having very low levels of moderation. Which, when you look at people like Aiden Ross, who is, basically a bigot and a hate monger, somebody that's not a poster child that you really kind of want to be at the head. He's one of their biggest creators and Trainwrecks. You don't have a lot of, you have a lot of people that have been banned off of other platforms for reasons over on Kick. But forgetting that, because that is kind of secondary to the thing I want to talk about. I would never stream over Kick because I honestly, as a member of the bisexual community, they don't want me over there. I honestly don't want to be over there. And that's fair. I'm entitled to think of that. But I'm not going to also... The main thing is, let's look at Kick from a business standpoint. Stake.com is averaging about $2 billion a year in profits. They just paid $70 to $100 million for XQC. It's $70 million right away with an option to go up to $100 million. And then another, reportedly, almost $60 million for Amaranth to go over there to snipe two of the biggest streamers off of Twitch. And that's fair. But let's actually talk. Let's actually think about this in terms of something that we've forgotten about, and that's Mixer. Mixer paid $60 million to Ninja to bring Ninja over to Mixer on an exclusivity deal. Well, yes, there are two big differences here that I really want to point out. One, that was an exclusive contract with Ninja. This is a non-exclusive contract with both XQC and Amaranth. In other words, they are free to continue streaming on Twitch and YouTube or wherever else they want to stream, as long as they also stream on Kick. Now, if you want me to be honest, we all know what this means, okay? let's think about it this way. And I'm going to think about it strictly speaking from a streaming point of view. All right. If I'm going to stream and I've got like, and a company like Kick just paid me $50 million. I'll be honest. Yeah. I'm going to spend most of my time on Kick because right now, yes, they do have that 95-5 split. And I'm thinking about this purely from a business standpoint. And yeah, I'm going to take the contract and I'm going to sign the contract. I'm going to take the bag and because they're dropping me this money and they're saying I don't have to be exclusive. Technically speaking, I could stream over there for 5 hours a month and then spend the rest of my time on Twitch. And that they're hoping that with the pay that they're dishing out, that's what's going to happen. And that's fine. To be honest, were I either of those two people, I would have taken the deal too. I am not gonna lie to you. Because there's a certain point where I know $50 million is going to do a lot of good, and I'm going to put that money to work. If I'm taking dirty money, which I'm going to be honest, that's my opinion. If I'm taking that money, I'm going to put it to use for something good. You know, and those of you that know me know that I will probably spend at least $1 million each on that, handing them out to charities, doing some good things for my friends and family, and then putting the rest of that in spots around where I can invest it or help out other people. Those of you that know me, and I know there are a few of you out there, know exactly what I mean, and you know that I'm a man of my word when I say that. So, the thing is, I don't really care if people go over. I'm going to tell you the honest to God truth. The thing that I'm thinking about here is in terms of business, pure and simple. And what I mean by that is this. Okay? Mixer did a lot of the same things, and before people were like, well, Mixer was owned by Microsoft. And just to put things in scale for you so that you understand the volumes that we're talking about, Microsoft still has an average per year profit of about $4 trillion versus the 2 to 3, even 5 billion that Stake has. Okay. That is a scale of difference that is exponentially larger than Stake. So for Microsoft to just kind of pull the plug on Mixer, well, they mishandled that. Mixer was not run well. And I don't know how Kick is making money. And I don't know if they're saying that they can operate at a loss for a while until it gets off the thing. That's fine. But here's the problem with Kick. And some people will say this, but I'm going to point this out to you because I know one thing. Amazon did not get where it is by being dumb. They're very shrewd and they can get away with a lot more things than you think they can. So, what do I mean by this? Very important. Kick and Rumble both license Amazon Web Services to run their backend, which includes all of their streaming platform, which is why when streamers go over there, they're like, oh, the interface is very similar to Twitch because they're using the Twitch UI that is included in Amazon Web Services. They don't actually have the technical backbone themselves. They don't have the technology themselves. They are licensing this technology. They're basically paying for bandwidth from Amazon Web Services, which is a separate entity within Amazon. And they're saying, okay, this is how we're going to run our service. And that's it. This is not something that's run. This is not a new technology. This is not anything. They're still using the same services. It's just they're using the same services that Twitch is running on the back end. They're using the same back end, but it's just being licensed. So that means that if they lose that contract, so here's the thing, people are like, oh, let's talk about two things that are important here. The non-exclusivity contract. That's very important because if I'm signing somebody from a parent company, I am not going to be giving them an exclusivity contract. Why? Because by doing that, by poaching talent from Twitch like that, I am potentially opening up myself to then Twitch being like, you know what, we're just going to turn off your services and cancel your contract. We're just going to choose not to renew your contract. And that's the big thing. At any point, Twitch can decide not to renew the contract or not to continue doing business with Rumble and Kick. And then anybody that's moved over to Kick and has that as their primate are completely and totally fucked. All Amazon has to do is be like, oh yeah, we've decided that Twitch is going to be the only one. And sure, they might have to pay a fine to the FTC, but listen, when it comes to paying a couple of $1 million to the FTC for something, I got news for you. It's not going to be like, oh, and stake.com then they're going to be fucked. And they're going to lose money, and the people that are streaming over there are going to no longer be creators until they can get themselves back up and running on another platform. So it's important to really think about why they're giving non-exclusivity contracts. And to remind people that that is something that goes, and I'm going to tell you right now, I am ruthless when it comes to being in business and working. I'm a very caring individual, but when it comes to getting ahead, I've been fucked by the system so many times in the past that I literally have one theory in my head, and that is to look out for myself first when it comes down to that. There is, and for those of you that are watching this and might be like, but Mel, listen, I've said this to you before. When it comes to dealing with businesses and corporations in this country, none of them give a shit about you. They could make some of the greatest things that you want, but at the end of the day, they're there to make money for their investors and for their employees. And it's investors first, employees second. But remember that. They don't give a shit about you. So I don't give a shit about those companies either. I will use them and do what I need to do to get ahead. And that's what I advise people to do. So the reason you're seeing people go over to Kick and go over to Rumble and go over to YouTube is because right now, everybody in content creation that has streaming as their reliable source of or has streaming as their primary source of income is basically freaking out. They don't know what's going to happen. Twitch has been making a lot of boneheaded announcements, and this is a boneheaded announcement if you read into this. That really drives it would make me nervous. It would make other people nervous, and it should. People are like, oh, well, 350 concurrent subs doesn't sound a lot. But when you think about it, it really is. 350 concurrent subs. And you're looking at, let's talk about streamers that are around, that are even their ambassadors, their brand ambassadors, right? Most of these streamers pretty much maybe top out at 200 viewers concurrently. And majority of them are not the people that are going to be getting the 70-30 split because they don't qualify. 350 concurrent over 3 months period of time is actually a pretty high number to have concurrently, not in gifted subs or things like that. Okay, that is a large number. And now we're talking about somebody who's got to have a minimum of like 1,000 concurrent viewers, a minimum. Seriously, think about that. You're talking about still the top 1% of the streamers that are streaming on this platform. And that is the same 70-30 split they had before. Now they're bringing it back. And they're saying, oh, well, this is the Partner Plus program. It's the same. It's just they've renamed an old policy that they used to have, and they're giving it back. But there's a caveat, up to $100,000. So if you make more than $100,000, it goes back to a 50-50 split thereafter. And I don't know the minutia of the rest of the deal. I haven't seen it. So, but let's just leave it at the baseline for now, and we'll tackle it this way. That still puts a lot of pressure. So that is going to still make, you would think a lot of streamers are going to be like, oh, well, now you've got to remember that there has to be over the next 3 months, and they're going to be putting a lot of pressure. Oh, continue your sub, things like that on their audience. Again, this is where it's now saying to the streamers, okay, now you're going to go and get the money, get the bag, but get it from your audience. Now, while most of the creators that I watch aren't really going to do this, you're still going to run into a spot where it's like, okay, people are going to, once again, be subject to, it's like when you go to a store and they want to attach that magazine subscription at the end. It could be a free subscription, but they want to push it because they want your information. So they're going to push it because that's what they're told they have to do. So this is going to ultimately make you feel maybe not the greatest about being in certain streams here. And this is what a lot of streamers are not going to necessarily feel comfortable on, being like, yeah, I need to push subs so I could get this, so let's get this. And yeah. Now, a lot of people And I know this again from talking to, I'm not going to use names, but a lot of streamers that I've talked to, a lot of other streamers on this platform that I've talked to are scared. They're now, all right, let's be real. A lot of companies that are out there, sponsor level companies, are scaling back a little bit on their advertising needs and their sponsorships a bit. So that's made it a bit of a problem. Some of these sponsors aren't doing so well themselves financially, so they're kind of scaling back and not necessarily paying everybody what they should be or when they should be. So this is causing a problem. And that, of course, filters down to the talent that's actually promoting these companies and doing the sponsorships. So this becomes an issue. And a lot of times you're smaller and, well, not even smaller, but you're mid to your mid and up level streamers. They're not necessarily signed with a management team or a management firm that handles their these deals for them, where they guarantee that they get paid and you pay a small amount to them in management fees. And that's actually kind of where I've been seeing things come up now. Yeah, so this is definitely something I've seen. So I've seen a lot of people go over and I've seen a lot of friends that have done YouTube streams as testing. Now, YouTube did take notification, and kind of the old giant kind of lifted up its head and kind of said, yeah, we can do something about this. So they basically so it used to be 1,000 to get partner on, or to be eligible for partner on YouTube. Now it's 500. There is a certain amount of max watched hours and things that you have to do. So yes, there are some, but it's been halved basically from what it was. Now, I am going to say that I've seen a lot of streamers reach out there. They have started new accounts to do tests on Kick and tests on Rumble and tests on YouTube and tests on, some probably even went to Facebook or other places where they can go and try to stream and see how they do. And yes, there are some other services coming out that are going to try to capitalize on this. And some of these may actually bring in some new technology, new streaming technology, which would be good. Right now, the other two companies that are competing with Twitch, or are trying to compete with Twitch, are kind of hilariously paying money to Amazon to use the same exact services on the back end, which is actually what they're doing. And that kind of, so it's like competition, but is it really competition? Not really. It's using the same technology. So you're not really going to get necessarily better experience. And, we're talking about this from a technical standpoint. So the other thing that kind of goes along with this, and this is kind of where, again, I have to I really wanted to talk about this too as a big topic, and this is why I'm saying, like, this is where I don't really. So, like, okay, for me, I wouldn't stream on Kick. I wouldn't even think about setting up an account there or doing a test stream there, because to me, I don't feel like I belong there. Now, YouTube, on the other hand, I've already got everything done on the back end to do some YouTube stuff, and we're going to be doing that. In fact, this is the last kind of video that I wanted to record, because I've been recording all of these streams. Now I've kind of been editing it, but I have to do it all on my own. So that does take a while. But I am prepared with the Sherilyn channel on YouTube to do all the streaming, all the live streams. Should Twitch decide to implode, I can do all of that and then cut the video up. I have a VOD channel set up, ready to go for all the full-length VODs. I have everything else set up to do the edited content, the shorts and everything else, and then I have stuff for the tabletop, things. I think I want to do kind of things that make me think what to do for streaming. All the different platforms have me second guessing where to start. Well, this is what I'm going to say, and this is the important thing. For a long time, Twitch sat at top and got complacent. They kind of made a lot of, like, we'll call them naive decisions, okay, and how they decided to back and run their platform. And those decisions are kind of, we're seeing the effects of those decisions now. But for a lot of people that are thinking content creation is a tough game and things like that. Well, yes, but let me put this out there, and I'm going to say this because, again, I was having a chat with my friend Mittens last night and some other people in the community, and she brought up some things that were really important, and I want to kind of go over this a little bit. First of all, there is certainly, all right, I'm going to say this. We're gonna talk about things, so I'm gonna lay this out there. I am going to go into topics of discussion here about content creation that are going to cover the full gamut. So be prepared for some of the things I'm going to say. I'm not going to say anything vulgar or profane, but I am going to be real with you all about how to succeed in this, depending upon what you want to do. Now, some of you may say, Mel, you talk about this, but remember, I have been streaming on this platform for upwards. I started in 2014. I've had accounts here since it was Justin TV. I've been around the whole online thing since online was a thing. Okay, as far as it goes, I know I have made a lot of friends with a lot of people that have gone from affiliates. I've seen friends of mine go from affiliate to partner in less than a month. Others that have gone, it's taken them years to get there. I have a lot of friends that are partners that are doing things, and it's that have been in communities where I've gotten a chance to talk to larger creators and smaller creators and things like that. Now, because of that, I've gotten a chance to kind of compile information and to see kind of what makes things tick and what doesn't, and understand a lot about what goes on behind the scenes. So it's just like when it comes to streaming and people think, oh, you just hit the go live and you're good to go. No, there's a lot more to it than that. So let's talk about this from the first basic thing. So I want to go into content creation. We're going to take a look at this from the just getting started standpoint. Okay. I want to go into content creation. Mel, what should I do? Well, you have to think of content creation as a flow. First of all, think of it as an investment portfolio. All right. Now, this is going to sound like, oh, we're going to talk business. Well, it's important. One of the things a good good financial advisor will say, diversify your portfolio. Don't put all your eggs into one basket. So if you think that streaming is something that you're going to want to do, figure out what part of that stream you want to do. Okay, I want to do video game streaming. I want to do chat streaming. I want to do some creative streams. Twitch is still going to be a sound way to start. Okay? But remember, we're talking about diversification versus putting everything in one basket. So you might want to say, okay, I want to stream on Twitch 2 days a week and keep a schedule and stream for 3 hours each time I stream. So a total of 6 hours on Twitch. You're not going for partner necessarily because we don't really know what that's going to look like right now. Being honest with you, you can still get your affiliate and still get into that, and you don't have to worry about the partner bullshit that the partners have to do. And I think affiliate is probably a good spot to stay for now. Just hear me out. Okay. I also think you should do what I'm doing. Record your streams, because through OBS or whatever thing, record them, have a YouTube channel. And I'm going to say this, it's important. Twitch's VODs are all going to have ads on them. And I'm not talking about ads that they run during your stream. They're going to have ads, and it's going to be a very unpleasant way to watch VODs. Create a YouTube channel. So, for instance, I have one called Melk VODs. Okay? Take your raw video that you have from the channel. You don't have to edit it, and just throw okay, I've streamed today. The next day, throw your VOD up on your YouTube channel. Tell everybody where your YouTube channel is. And if they want to go and watch, they'll go and watch. And you'll see that people will go and watch, especially if they know they can go and watch it on YouTube, where they're not going to have to watch the mandatory Twitch ads, and they're going to go and have a good viewing experience. It's going to be a big thing. It's going to be bigger than you think it will. It's going to do a lot. It's going to give people a place to go to say, oh, I missed the show, but I can go and watch it. And that's a huge thing. It's bigger than people think it is. And a lot of people say, well, I'm going to go, people don't go to YouTube to watch things. But here's to watch long content video. And to a large extent, that's true. But remember, if people are going to specifically watch your VOD, okay, chances are they're going to watch it while they're at work or while they're doing stuff during the day and they want it in the background, and maybe you have a nice voice, maybe they like the way it sounds. For whatever reason, they just enjoy you and they want you to be the thing that they listen to when they're doing what they need to do during the day. That's a huge thing, and people don't realize how important that is. And so that is another avenue to put out there. And that is the easiest YouTube channel that you can have, okay? It's a simple upload, done, and you make a graphic for it. And it doesn't even need to be a spicy graphic or anything like that, but spicy in terms of eye-catching, okay? Not, ooh, adult. But what I mean is just put up a basic thing. Hey, it's the Mel Show, or today we played games, or whatever, and then, an image that you want to put up, however you want to do it, and that's it. Simple, to the point, and it's uploaded, and it's there, and people can watch it. Okay? Done. Now, this is where we get to the second part of why it's important to do this, and this is kind of where I'm going to talk about. So, as I'm talking right now, there are other parts during the show where I might go and we're going to do some React content, do that. I will then be able to go through and edit my video, my raw video down and say, okay, this is the part that's the podcast. Now, the podcast portion of this, since I run everything with DMCA free music, the podcast portion of this where I talk about a consolidated topic like we're doing, I may say, okay, I'm going to cut this down, and that may be 15 minutes, and I'll make a thumbnail up specifically relevant to that, and I'll upload that, and I'll put that on a separate YouTube. So this would be on the Sherilyn channel, right? And I'll put it up there, and it'll go up there, and then you'll see that you'll be able to go and say, oh, I want to watch Mel just put out a video on, Twitch's new policy change. Oh, Mel just put up a video on how to really kind of get started into content creation and things like that. And then you can kind of check the different videos out, and you can cut that main VOD into smaller videos that are then easily digestible for people that want to watch the shorter form content. Now, let's say I'm playing a game and I want to do some clips and things like that. Well, if I do the clips, it's going to be great because now I can clip out things, put them on clip, and put them on YouTube Shorts. Now, this is, again, why I'm focusing on YouTube, because for me, that's a thing. But we're gonna expand on this, so hang in there. Hang in with me for a minute. Now I got my shorts up. I got some funny clips from playing games, or maybe reacting to something, or maybe somebody comes in and plays a funny alert, and I have a fun reaction to it. Great. We got that up there. We put the clips up there. These things all do their job and help you with discoverability. And the reason I say to cut things down like this is, so your VOD channel, you want to hit a certain algorithm on YouTube. Again, that same algorithm, that's why you're cutting down your stream. You're not going to put the whole contents of your stream up on your YouTube channel, but you're going to put the bits that you want on there in the form of like maybe a 7 to 10 minute video, and then you're going to have your shorts that are going to go up and try to promote that main channel. Then, like, if I'm doing a painting stream or something like that, I'll put that on my Vel Craftworks channel, and that's it. And then, of course, I will have a card, and I use card.co pages because they're free, and you can create a main website that you can drive everybody to that'll have all your social media links, all of your YouTube channels, your Twitch channel, and everything, and people can go in one place to find that. Now, the other thing that's important to have is a Twitter. And I know people are going to be like, Twitter. Well, yes, Twitter. Because for whatever reason, we're still stuck with it. It still kind of works. But it's a great place to let people know, hey, I'm going live. And it's a great place to let people know, oh, hey, I dropped a new video. And you want to probably tweet out, there's a magical formula that's like 3 tweets a day, keeps you relevant, it increases your visibility, things like that. I'm giving you a basic baseline for something, but the idea is you want to engage with people on Twitter to drive people and attract followers. And that's how it works. There's a formula out there that I don't know if it's changed because of Twitter being what it is now. And you can have another, like, I know some people are back to using Hive, and I think Hive is probably still good. And that's fine. if you see something else that you want to use and you're more comfortable with that, fine, but make sure you put it on your page. But I always use Twitter because Twitter gets the most visibility. That's my opinion. And on Twitter, you put a link to your website or where you have all your links on either one of those, link my links or whatever. And then people can go and they see your website and they say, oh, look, these are all the links. If I want to follow, Mel on Twitter, if I want to follow Mel's YouTube channels, if I want to follow Mel on Instagram, if you're doing something, so here's again, type of content. YouTube Shorts translate very easily into TikToks. So why not upload your shorts on TikTok and then YouTube at the same time to increase your visibility? Another way to just go about things. And then we'll talk about Instagram. Instagram, as much as people may be like, Insta, whatever, this, that, the other thing, it's relevant. It's a visual thing. You can do short. Again, they also have their little Instagram stories where you can post a short content video-wise too. That's fine. But you can also go on and post, like, obviously pictures is a big thing on Instagram. That's what it's there for. That's what it was at least developed with, the idea in mind. So let's say you're going to go into, like, oh, I want to do nail art, or I do nail art. Like, I'm thinking specifically, like, in terms of people, but like, hey, I do nail art. This is what I have. And then I post this out there and then I draw things. And maybe you build up a big followings because you use the tags. Now, again, Twitter, Instagram, I think Hive too. Important to understand how the hashtagging works on those sites so that you maximize your visibility on it. You can look up this. There are articles on this, formulas that are out there that people put out that kind of give you a baseline as to how many hashtags you should include on things. It does seem like a lot of work, and I'm not going to lie, it is a bit of work because you're branding yourself. You're saying, look at me, and that's why you're getting into content creation. Now, this is all the kind of traditional vanilla kind of stuff that's out there. But again, now people say, well, you said things about hot tub streamers on Twitch. Well, yes, I said it about hot tub streamers on Twitch because of the fact that I don't have a problem with hot tub streamers on Twitch. I'm not going to lie to you. If I come across somebody that's attractive, I'm bi, so male or female, that's sitting in there, I'm going to look because I'm human. And I'll be like, oh, that's pretty to look at. But I'm going to be honest with you. There are other websites that are about streaming where you can stream, where if you want to show skin and you want to do things like that, you can. And you will make more money doing that way. You know which sites I'm talking about. You know which sites I'm talking about. I'm sure you've heard of it. Starts with a C. Rhymes with Kate. There you go. But yeah, you can go to those sites and you can create an account, file your paperwork because they do have a little bit more strict paperwork as far as getting started. But once you get through that, all right, and you've got your tax paperwork, it's really about taxes, really, set up and everything. You can go on. You got a cam, and you get whatever other things you want to offer to people, and you go in there, and you will make far more money doing that than you would just doing that. And I got news for you. You don't just have to go on there and just be like, I'm going to get naked and have fun with myself. No. You can literally go on there and have, like, if you are going to run, like, if this was going to be like a mature, like really mature stream where I was going to talk about sexual stuff and things like that, and we were going to go into that, I would be more apt to do it on a site like that because I know that there's a certain level of that the age group is kind of guaranteed that that we're not going to have to worry about something. Second thing I know is that you don't have to go on there and just be like, oh, I've got to, you could go on there with a VTuber model that's lewd and do things, play, any kind of, there's acceptability. You can look at what's going on over there and see what it is. And then you can upload that to other websites. You can do the Only Farmers way. You know what I mean? If you want to produce content like that. And let me tell you something right now before we go into this, because we had this discussion again last night. Mince told me she had a friend. I'm not going to name names, but she had a friend. She didn't name names either. But you had a friend that was that would just wasn't doing it just because she needed the money, but because she enjoyed doing it. She would go out, get pedicures, post pictures of her feet on Only, never posted pictures of her face or anything, but post that on Only Farmers, and would make lots and lots of money just doing that on the side, and used to use that to fund going on vacations, on trips and things, and then of course getting pedicures and things like that. I'm just saying you don't have to do, like, when people talk about those sites, it doesn't have to be the, oh my God, I have to get on and do all the, no, it doesn't have to be that way. You can do body painting, full body painting, and then have, like, shots of that. Yeah, you might be mostly nude, but again, you've got artwork on you. It's all about how you utilize it. If I'm doing a mature podcast or broadcast on the streaming site, the adult streaming site, and then I want to I might create a free Only Farmers account so that I can upload all the VODs from my adult podcast onto Only Farmers and make it a free access just to get the content out there. It depends on what you want to do with it. If you're not into like all that, there's the fan house thing where you can just do like behind the scenes. Oh, well, I've become a streamer, I'm going to do this, or maybe I'm going on vlogs and I'm going on vacations, or I'm taking trips, or I have a hobby and I like to do, food things. I could have a free thing and then offer things. If you're an artist, you can have a Ko-Fi account or a coffee account, whatever they call it. I call it Ko-Fi, whatever. You can ding me in the comments all you want about which way is the right way to say it. But if you're an artist and you want to do work, you can open up your own entire commission shop. If I'm going to do some emotes for people, whatever. People can go to Ko-Fi. You could set rates on there, and people can pay for commissions, do everything. You can do work that way. There are a lot of options available for people. And then, of course, let's not forget Patreon. In fact, I would say this. If you have a YouTube channel, you should almost 100% have a Patreon channel. And you should be not afraid to record specific video only for your Patreon subscribers. Because obviously you should give them something back for their money too if they're paying for a little bit of access. If you're a big streamer, like some big streamers, they have the sub-only areas through Discord for their Discord subs. And these are the things you can do to expand into content creation. And the one thing I will say with any community that you build, anything that you're going to work with, is tell the people that you're working with, tell your audience what you're doing. Be transparent with them. Explain to them why. And if you're just starting out, just tell people up front, hey, this is me. This is what I do. This is kind of how I'm breaking it down because I'm trying to make this work. And again, honesty goes a whole lot further than any sort of bullshit. Doesn't matter about anything else. Your potential audience will know exactly what they're getting into right away with you. And there won't ever be this feeling of, or really ideally, there won't be a feeling of, oh, they're just trying to milk me for money. Usually you've told them up front where the free stuff is, where the pay stuff is. And if they like what they see in the free stuff, maybe they'll go over to the pay stuff. That's all you can really do. And I think that's the best way to kind of like handle content creation, to be honest, because I don't feel comfortable being like, hey, open up your fucking wallet. Now, if I'm doing a charity, I'll be like, hey, open up your wallets and give me your money, because I'm raising money for St. Jude's, or I'm raising money for Trevor Project, things like that. That's when I'll ask for money. For me, if I'm doing this, hey, look, we've got a sub button, we've got to subscribe. You could subscribe here, you could donate here. These are the links. I will let my bot do that heavy lifting, but I'm not going to push that like necessarily on people. Like, it's not going to be something I'm going to mention more than once in passing or things like that. But it is something that should be known. If you are making content and doing things for people, people should know what they are getting. Now, the other thing that goes along with this is if you are somebody that does start to build a brand that people recognize and you have a following and you have a community, I also think Discord, having your own Discord, setting it up. I know you're probably members of like hundreds of Discords like I am. and it's a pain in the ass to manage them all. You've got the folders, but there's still like tens of folders. I get it. But having your own Discord for your community gives them a place to go. And I know that it may seem like, oh, but I'm going to go there and how many people actually interact. I've got news for you. I've been in large Discords that are people have been partnered for a while with streamers, VTubers, whatnot. And I've gone and I've hung out in there, and the streamer has come in and hung out with us plenty of times. And people, you got to remember, just because somebody's a streamer doesn't mean, yes, they might have a lot of followers. Yes, they might be a bigger streamer, or they might be a popular streamer, whatever. They're just people. Most people I know that got into streaming because they wanted to play games with people. They really didn't have a way to make friends in real life because of COVID or whatever. And now they're trying to, now they have these communities and they like to interact with their community. And that's the way it is. Everybody, at the end of the day, we're all just people trying to get along and make our way in this world. The one thing I will say, the other thing is, now we talked about content creation. Here's another thing. If you're not sure what to do and you're camera shy, try PNG tubing, try VTubing, because one thing that was brought up, and one thing I know a lot of people, specifically, I know a lot of women get nervous about this because of the way that they're treated on the internet. I will say this from talking to some of my friends that are females that are streamers, just existing as a female on the internet is hard enough. Get that. One of the things I say about doing that is why I'm like an advocate of people like going the PNG tuber route, going the VTuber route, depending upon if you like this. So I am planning on going full like rigging for this model because I love the model, and I want y'all to be able to see like me like be actually animated with Charlene, rather than just looking like I'm kind of like posing here like this for the most part. I love this model and it's set for that. So all I have to do is like sit down and talk to a rigger, which means I have to sit down and talk to Ruby, who she can recommend me, what riggers she can recommend me, and then I can sit down and talk to them and get this, done. But that will still take a while to fully do the rigging and things like that. But I will say this, because from the PNG tuber standpoint, the VTubing standpoint, it takes away that camera shy or that stage fright aspect of streaming, because now if I want to sing or if I want to be a little bit funny or say something, I'm not going to feel as self-conscious, because I think to an extent we all can feel a little bit self-conscious in front of a camera, especially if we're live, because there's a certain amount of vulnerability that goes along with it. But when I'm up there as Charlene, I don't feel anything. Not to mention, I mean, like, I don't feel that. I don't get that sort of like, I feel like I can get up here and do what I want, say what I want. And to be honest, if I'm going to record any sort of short form or anything like a skit, it's so much easier for me to put Charlene in front of a location, or to put my character somewhere where I want to be. And yes, I know I'm breaking the fourth wall, but let's be honest, we're not really in the deep immersion state of this character yet. I can be in any location I want to be in with this and easily film skits. If I want to have other friends come in that are also PNG tubers or have React animations, I can. And it makes it easy for you to film some skits, to film some things. It makes it easier for you to film short content too. It opens up a lot of creativity aspects, and that's important, because sometimes you just want to film something without like doing it in front of a live audience. Sometimes you might be like, hey, let's work on a project, but let's do this off screen. One of the greatest things I saw, I was going to say this the other day, was Sunday it was, Rainho, who's a fairly large VTuber, had her new, I think it's her 2.0 model come out. Might be 3.0. Don't quote me on that. But she had her new lore, and she had a lore reveal and was animated. And she had a lot of her friends come in that were other VTubers that she works with do the voices. and do some of the voice acting in it. And she put this great thing together before she debuted her new model, and it was fantastic, and it was great to see. And I mean, there were at one point there was like almost 15,000 people watching. I mean, that's fantastic, and it's one of those things that you have the opportunity to do more creative work, and that's the thing. I think that why I think I'm also a fan of this. It does take away that. Okay, so another streamer I watch, Yuzu, um, she used to stream with the cam on, but she got very uncomfortable with the amount of people saying that she was attractive and commenting on her looks. When she came back as a VTuber, that aspect of it was gone, and she got to feel kind of come out of her, be more comfortable on stream and be able to do more things on stream that way. There's a lot of things that I think are really great about this kind of thing. Now, you'll hear some people be like, "Oh, VTubers drama." Drama is always brought around by how you interact with other people. It has nothing to do about whether you're a live 2D character or something. Drama is going to happen whether you're a face cam streamer or you're a VTuber, if that's the way you carry yourself. So let's keep that clear. I know a lot of people think, "Oh, listen, that you don't." Some of the most successful VTubers out there just hang out with their friends. They do things. Hey, Zan. And they just vibe and they do collabs and things like that. That's how you do it. And if you're a cool person, or you meet somebody, or like, look, if I were gonna do some collabs, I always, like, we did a really fun collab 2 weeks ago with Bucket and Sets and Liger and Peppy, and I've done, I would like, if I were going to do something like when the model goes full live 2D, I would love to do stuff with Ruby if she'd like to play games together, or other people that I'm friends with. It's all about just having the fun. This is something I do for fun. I'm not doing it because I want to. If it took off, that's fine. Am I going to actively make content? Yes, I'm going to actively make content, the content that I want to make, primarily for me and stuff that amuses me. But then I am going to put out stuff that will hopefully draw more people in and grow the stream and grow the brand. That's kind of thing. So that being said, kind of switching gears now, we'll talk a little bit about Sherilyn. Sherilyn is a character that is basically a name that's been with me for the better part of 12 years, since I was playing World of Warcraft, probably at this point, almost 20 years, 19 years now, because I started playing World of Warcraft. There are 3 names that have followed me around online. One is Miravenous, which was my first character in World of Warcraft. My second was Sherilyn. And then, of course, Melkandor, which is where the Captain Melk comes from, or Melk comes from. Now it's kind of just funny because I say, "Oh, hi, I'm Melk," and people are like, "Are you from the Netherlands?" Because that's the name for milk in the Netherlands and a lot of Northern European countries, which is kind of hilarious to me. But we have a lot, which is really funny, because if you know me and you know my community, you know there's one person around that's been around for a long time. That's Hamling. Hamling is from the Netherlands, and is somebody I always love the fact that we know each other. We're friends, and there are people that have been in the community for a very long time, like Zan, and a lot of people that have been around with me for a few years now. And it's really great to see people come and hang out. But Sherilyn is going to be, there will be a lore video. I'm working on the concept of everything. It's not going to be big, grandiose one, but so the whole thing is Sherilyn is a necromancer. And it's going to be how I wound up in a female demon body. As a necromancer, and how that happened. So I've got the idea. I'm storyboarding it out, and I will do that when I decide to do a full debut, which, yes, I'm using the model now, but I'm using the PNG model now. When I get the rigging done, we're gonna actually work on the full thing so that this model will go from being like this to full live 2D, and then you'll be able to see Sherilyn in the proper way that I've envisioned her, and we can do that. And I'm going to work on that with Art Womble and a few other people. So I'm excited. Also excited to see that my other emote artist, Moist Goist, is back around on the Twitch, which is great because Goisty was great, and it was nice to see her back in channels the other day. So that's also good news. So there are a lot of things that I'm kind of happy about, and I'm excited about going forward. And I really just want to kind of take the opportunity to kind of introduce people more to this character. The model, as you can see, let's entirely was designed by Womble. So you'll notice that there are no like outlets, so it doesn't look like it's drawn. The way Womble designed it is that she exists in the space without having the traditional animated look to it. So I like that. It's different, and I mean I love like the eyes and the way this. I mean I designed the look for this. So for those of you that know me, I do a lot of my work in 14. And I designed the look for this based on a 14 character, the human female character. But then I created the references for Womble that way. So that I was able to give that to Womble, and Womble could do the artwork from there, and he did. And I was still amazed the fact that he did it in such a short amount of time. So this is one of the things that I'm really, really happy about. And we all love Art Womble. So very pleased with this. And I still say I would love to do a game of, and it would be a long game of Gardic Phone. Would still love to see, because I know Womble loves Gardic. I'd love to like get Jakatsu and Womble and a couple of other artistic friends together to just see what they can, how they can feed off of each other and inspire each other to draw cool shit in Gardic. And that would be fun. So, I mean, I say that, and it just it's a pipe dream of mine. It's one that's definitely in there that I'd like to see happen. But like I said, I always feel like this is the best. Like for me, my favorite way to interact with y'all is this way, and I've said this many, many times. I prefer these kind of streams where we sit and talk and chat. And to be honest, most of the time I am in a VTubing stream. It is very similar to this. Like, I am still working on some scenes, in other words, rooms for me to occupy, and that's kind of one of the things that I would like to have a little bit more lively with this. But I would like to have. I'm always going to keep this bar scene because I love the bar. The bar is just one of my favorite spots. But I want to have one where I'm in a more relaxed atmosphere. And again, I have to kind of design it, and so that's why I will log into 17 to 14. Oh, so that's one of the things that's exciting. So I want to kind of get the reference shots for that so I can design it. But I got a tablet now, so now I can actually do some of the designing myself, which makes me happy. Because some of the stuff like this or like the backgrounds and things I want to design, I really am excited to work on in that way. I do have some things that I kind of want to do on the design time, but I think there are videos that I'm going to make where I do some decorating in games like Minecraft, and again in 14 where I do the decorating, where I then put out videos on like kind of ideas that I got, and we're going to use inspiration shots from like real life, and then see how I can like pay homage or recreate that in a digital space, or kind of take inspiration from that and create a digital space with the same vibe, which I think will be really cool. that's kind of one of the reasons I like having the smalls and the rooms and all the FC rooms, because I can do stuff like that, and then we can always change things up. So that's always cool. Now, some of the news for this week is pretty cool too. So I'm gonna say this is a huge week for those of us that are really like, if you've got a PS5, you should probably be taking the 22nd off, which is Thursday, for Final Fantasy 16. I'm just gonna say that might be the day to call out sick to work so you can play. I don't know when you're gonna be able to download that, but you can certainly already play the demo, and you should. I've heard rumors that you should play both parts of the demo before you go into the full version. I know the demo actually carries over the information into the full game when it comes out, and it's like the the prologue. So it should be worth noting. So that's the big launch for this week. And I'm going to say this: we've had some really. This has been a pretty solid year for gaming so far. Free to play wise, I'm going to go with Honkai as probably the best. So far the biggest launch of the year for that, and Honkai setting the bar high again for turn-based combat, traditional JRPG combat. Again, with really tremendous production values, spectacular animation, spectacular artwork, and a good story with good characters. Followed by Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. I always want to say Tears of the Koroks for reasons, but Tears of the Kingdom, and I think that's one of the greatest things that's out there, honestly. That's one of the greatest games, and I think they're really onto something. And I don't know how much they've realized this, but like, yes, you can play through the story. Yes, there will probably be some DLC for it, unlocking a few other chapters, but like, with the ability to build things and to create things in that game, I mean, the replayability is through the roof, to be honest. Not even, I mean, like, you can literally just do building, like, you could do building tournaments, you could do like different showcases. I mean, there's just so much you could do with that game, and I think we're only scratching the surface with that. Clearly a Game of the Year contender. Diablo 4, another huge release that came out. And while I don't know, I don't want to say Game of the Year contender, it's definitely one of the more solid games that's released. I'm going to be recording my Diablo 4 review, because now that we're 3 weeks into the game, I really kind of I feel I've had enough time to get through the whole campaign and to do some end game stuff, and to really kind of give my full opinion on it. And just so you're aware, I'm not like it's not, even though I'm a huge Diablo fan, it's not a 10 out of 10 for me. It's more like an 8 out of 10. And I'll give you a preview of what my thoughts on Diablo are right now. I do like a lot of what's there. I do think that there are a lot of the classes, all of the classes feel a little bit too weak. In other words, an action RPG at endgame, you should be able to live the power fantasy. And that is important to how an action RPG functions. The idea is you've built up your gear and your full build far enough that you can do the content that you want to do without worrying about dying too much, where you could pretty much smite most of the stuff out there pretty easily and then farm for the gear that you want to farm. Ideally, it's all about min-maxing RPGs. You want to get the best equipment for your character to do whatever you want to do. And I do think that they still got a little bit of tuning to do before they get. They've still got some tuning to do before they get there. I know that they're addressing a lot of the issues that people have. I mean, there is a 13-page bit of patch notes that's coming out for the next patch. So yeah, I mean, I'm not going to read that whole thing, but I will go through it. I'm not going to read it on stream, but I will read through it and then like go through some bullet points and things that I think are really cool. I know they're going to make the nightmare dungeons more rewarding. They're going to fix some XP nerfs that they put in, and they're going to try to balance everything out now. That, like they said, the devs said last week, okay, the nerfing stage is over. Now let's buff shit. So we'll see how this tuning process goes. And, I know that the dev team has been listening to the community for feedback regularly. There's been hotfix after hotfix, so we know they're paying attention. Now we are now like at the next big launch, which is Final Fantasy 16, which I do believe will probably be another Game of the Year contender. Solid. I'm excited to see what this is going to bring and how this is going to pan out. I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited to watch people stream it. I will say this, if you are planning on getting it but not wanting to get it spoiled, do stay off of social media. Obviously, regarding 16, you might want to curate things or make sure you block certain terms so that you don't get spoiled on social media. Unless you're going to do what I do. I don't own a PS5, but I'm going to watch people play it. I know Mittens is planning on playing it. I know a few people are planning on playing it, so I know that I'm going to be watching a few different people stream it and play through it, and I'm going to see it that way. That's Twitch for you. I know that we are in a good spot for games to come out. We are like I'm like literally. By the way, I'm loving the new release of Opera GX, but because now it gives me a clear timeline as to some of the new stuff that's coming out. But I mean, we are in the middle of a good year for gaming. And I believe it's probably July. July, we have some other things coming out. I don't know how big, but I am excited to see the new Monkey Island coming to Sea of Thieves. And then we're going to be looking at another game coming out late July is Immortals of Avium, which I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that's going to be. It looks interesting. It could be interesting. I'm hoping it's got a little bit more to it than Outriders had. I liked Outriders, but Outriders did not have the stay factor that I think it was hoping to have. Pikmin 4 coming out in July, July 21st. That should be another one. Another Ratchet and Clank coming out on July 26th, Rift Apart. And then we've got on the 25th, the other big game that I'm looking forward to, Remnant 2, which I'm looking forward to. I loved Remnant from the Ashes. That's a big one that I'm looking forward to. There are some there's just a lot of stuff coming out this year that looks interesting, and for a variety of reasons. So again, it should be a good year for games. I'm excited. I've been doing this stream thing, like I said, for a while, and I'm excited to kind of just keep diving in and expanding what we're doing here. But I do think that tonight, so we are going to actually watch something funny. So I want to watch, I was thinking about this, and like one of the funniest things, I think for tonight, we're going to call here. I know I streamed a little bit later, and I apologize about that. But I have been, it's been a little bit of a busy day. I ended up getting into a couple of conversations about things earlier that actually kind of helped me kind of form tonight's episode. So I didn't want to just cut myself short there. But But I'm gonna be honest, I'm a little bit I haven't really eaten anything in a while, and I'm a little bit hungry, a little bit peckish. I'm feeling the need for some chips and cheese. Um, like I said, a little snack. I ain't going to bed anytime soon, so I'll be up and about for a while. Um, but like I am very much appreciative of y'all kind of chilling with me and hanging out. I always appreciate that. Um, Tonight I am feeling. And I'm just kind of thinking about where I want to go, where I'm going to probably hang out. And I think for no, Eros isn't on. I would go and sit and raid Eros, but Eros isn't streaming tonight. We're gonna try. We're gonna go where I'm already kind of hanging out on the other machine. We're gonna try to see if we can raid Yuzu. Since she's playing, I'm gonna see if this works. If not, we'll go somewhere else. Oh, we can. So we're gonna go raid Yuzu. Yuzu is a moth VTuber. She is really, really she's just a gamer that likes to game. Yuzu is fantastic. She's just celebrated her 2-year anniversary of VTubing on Twitch. And she's currently playing Resident Evil 4, the remake. She's working on finishing it up. Really positive vibes there. So go say hello. I'm just rating because I just think Yuzu's cool. So anyway, thank you so much for everything, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful day and a great evening. Thanks for spending some time with me, and we'll see you soon.